Welcome to The Long Strange Trip. I'm Josh, the host of the show. We're going to dig into 6 areas together, finding real work-life integration instead of that brutal 95-5 split too many business owners live with. We're going to approach retirement as an actual reinvention rather than just stopping work. And we're facing death honestly and avoiding PTSD around it. We're also building resilience when life throws us curveballs. We're sharing wisdom across generations. And finally, we're understanding the patterns that show up in all our transitions. I'm not coming at this as an expert. I'm a fellow traveler, figuring this stuff out in real time, especially now as I navigate my own dual cancer diagnosis at 73. Welcome to The Long Strange Trip. I'm glad you're here. Hey, how are you today? This is Josh Patrick, and you're at the Long Strange Trip podcast. And my guest today is Ana Melikian. I've known Ana for, 10, 15, maybe 20 years, a long time. I met her in a program called Book Yourself Solid, where she was a certified coach. I became a certified coach, but she's more of a certified coach than I. And she is one of the more interesting people. Ana's been in a mastermind group with me for 4 or 5 years. And I thought she would make a great guest because she's been through several serious cancer episodes, which require a huge amount of resilience. And since resilience is one of our 6 areas that we're investigating, I thought having Ana on would be a perfect thing. So let's bring her on the show. Hey, Ana, how are you today?
Doing good. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. So Ana, when you first were diagnosed with cancer, what went through your head?
So the first go with cancer for me was in 2016. And I was disbelieved, honestly, because I was eating very, very healthy, having very extremely active with a young daughter. Everything, Odyssey, was going well. And I could not believe that that was happening to me. The first thing was totally denial. And then I go from denial to action very quickly. And as long as I have a plan of action to have something that I can focus on, that helps me a lot.
When you say plan of action, can you give us an example of that?
Yeah, so because the first thing I noticed something, so I had breast cancer in 2016. I noticed that something was off, but I didn't went as quick as to the doctor as I should have gone, because I was doing the regular thing, going once a year to my gynecologist, doing the scans, everything that they usually ask us to do. So I thought, okay, we didn't detect anything, so everything is okay. And this must be something that is nothing, until it was not going away. And I was in December when my daughter was finally in the break for the winter break, that I decided, no, let me go check what is going on. And the face of I didn't manage to get with the doctor, was with the nurse practitioner, and their face went white. That is where I knew that something was really off. And they didn't let me go out of the building without having an appointment with a breast surgeon, that is usually the person that does the biopsies. So that, for me, showed me the seriousness of the situation, and at the same time gave me the next step that I had to do. But I still remember walking out of the building with a sense of disbelief. This is not possible to be happening. And then this was around the holidays, so I went to the breast surgeon, but I only received the results of the biopsy. But he told me that day, that when I visited him, that he was sure that I had inflammatory breast cancer, but we were going to confirm it with the biopsy. But all these years of experience, he could tell me that that is what I had. But the confirmation of the biopsy came in January 4th. So because of the holidays and all the things at the end of the year, the delay a little bit, the results to come out. And I remember the day because of all of that. And it's just before my birthday too. That was, okay, this is real. This is real.
So, how long was it between your first thought of diagnosis and you started treatment?
Was really quick. So for me to go first to that doctor, that he connect me immediately to the oncologist. That he asked me, what is the area of the valley in Arizona where you live? And he said, okay, I can recommend this person, Dr. Albert Wendt, that is a legend here. And he managed, how do you say, the amazing thing is that first having insurance, and second, be lucky with the doctors, your team. And I was very lucky. The first, my team was really top notch, and they knew each other very well, from the best surgeon to the oncologist to the radiologist. So, because the thing people don't, I think, don't understand until going to something like this, the complexity of the treatment and how many people it involves. Until you, and in the beginning is doctor appointments. More than anything else, we are going from a doctor appointment to the next doctor appointment to the next doctor appointment. And because of the nature of the cancer, they want me in treatment as soon as possible. So, and usually in most breast cancers, they start with the surgery. In this type of breast cancer, inflammatory breast cancer, they start with the chemo first because they have to reduce the size of the tumor before doing the surgery. So it was a matter of weeks, and I was doing the chemotherapy.
Oh, so your experience was faster than mine. It seemed to take forever before they took me seriously, and forever before we started treatment. But once they decided they were going to treatment, they wanted to start the next day. I said, no. We need to do some things beforehand. So they gave me 3 days.
Yeah, but even in your first go ahead with cancer.
Yeah, that was my first go around.
Yeah, because I still remember when in 2016 that we already knew each other, and I communicate to the group, the Book Yourself Solid group, that I had cancer, and you reach out to me. And your advice at the time was really important to me. You told me, take one day at a time. And there are days that you cannot lift your head out of the pillow, and it's okay. Just take one day at a time. And that was a very helpful advice.
That's my advice to everybody going through cancer, because we want to, we like to catastrophize. And if you do forward thinking, you're going to be catastrophized, almost without doubt. The other thing is, the oncologist, at least my oncologist, was not especially forthcoming about the side effects I was going to have. I don't know if that was true with you.
It's not what they say. And nowadays, I have to say that they really, at least, and that is the other thing about for people with this cancer diagnosis, is each person has a different story, and each type of cancer is a different journey. So I think it's really, really important for people to have that awareness that there are things in common that we can connect with, absolutely, but each journey is unique. And in the breast cancer, in my case, I think they have done a 10 comparing to 20 years ago to the make the chemo as comfortable as is medically possible for us the day of the chemo. The day of the chemo, they put us with so many stuff before and during and just before the infusion, that day is not a big deal. It's the 3 days after. It's like the way that I used to describe it's like being run by a truck and you don't know what hits you. You just feel like, what happened here? because the body, after all the things that they gave you to handle the thing, left the system, and you just have the chemo to act, is really, and for me was the 3 days. I usually, my treatments were on a Thursday, and I knew that Saturday I will be out. And then is recover, go back in front of the same track, and do it again until they say that we are done.
Yeah, in my particular case, the side effects were amazing. And I don't mean amazing in a good way.
Yeah, good way.
I mean amazing and horrible.
Yeah.
And I asked my doctors, when I was like halfway through this treatment, I said, why didn't you tell me what was going to happen? They said, well, if we told you, you wouldn't have done it. And I think that's the attitude of many chemo doctors. And I think it depends on the patient on how much information you should be sharing. So a part of resilience, I think, is having accurate information. But does that make any sense to you?
And like you are touching, each person is unique, and knowing ourselves is really important, and having a team that we trust. For me, having all the information on the table is something, and I ask and I read. So having and I had the support of a really supportive family that really could step in to help me in relation to my daughter, that was 7 at the time. But for me, having the information, and like I said in the beginning, for me, having the plan, I knew, okay, there was the rounds every 3 weeks, 6, I think was 6 treatments initially, 6 rounds of chemo, and then the next step was recover for the chemo and then the surgery. So I always had a plan. I knew that was a very serious, this type of cancer, because that I look also. And the big warning for everybody with this kind of diseases when we look to the survival rates. First of all, that they are, they are older than what is happening to us at the moment, because
That's
survival
true.
rates, there is a little bit, so that is a good, we are always usually a little bit better than the survival rates are in the literature, but in my case was a 5-year survival rate of about 40%.
Okay.
So 10 years later, I'm still here, so that is a good sign. But was, how do you say, that was also, oh my gosh, but speaking with people was really, really important in terms of resilience, of learning that there were other people that had a similar cancer as I had, that had make it through 10, 20 years. That was gave me hope that was possible. And having the doctor believe, no, this is a difficult thing, but it's possible. That was really helped me to keep the hope and keep just looking, what is the next goal? What is the next goal? And I'm responding, I'm handling the treatment. What is the next goal? What is the next thing that I have to do?
So what was the time frame for your treatment? In other words, how long did your treatment go for?
So like was less than, so it was 6 treatments every 3 weeks apart, so a little bit shy of the 5 months. Then if memory doesn't betray me, because this was the first time, but there was 3 other rounds. Then I think I was about the 6 weeks to recover from the chemo until they considered that my body was strong enough for the mastectomy, for the surgery. And then again, another 6 weeks of recover or something like that until they considered that I was strong enough to start with the radiation therapy. And that was like 30 days, 30 sessions from Monday to Friday, going there every single day of the week to get the radiation and come back home. So what was a grueling maybe 7, 8 months, until they say, okay, things you seems to be out of the worst, and now you can start to recover.
So you're a solopreneur, correct?
Yeah,
How did you keep your business running while you were going through treatment?
that was an interesting thing because the good thing at the time is that yes, I was, and I still am a solopreneur, but at the time I was working with two different collaboration teams in the Book Yourself Solid and with another group with a training around LinkedIn. And being in a collaboration allow me to keep going a little bit more to the background, but still keep working. And for me, keep working was very important psychologically. Was the only thing, like kind of normality, the thing that I could control. And again, each person is different, but for me, I had to reduce the workload, absolutely. I had to really be very focused and on my strengths. Being working with other people in collaboration kind of initiatives help a lot. But and I have to say, shout out to Michael Port of the Book Yourself Solid, the creator of the Book Yourself Solid. He was really super supportive, and how long you take, no worries. And with my other group, I was, so to say, more in the background with the technology behind, making sure that all the funnels were working. So even if it was one keystroke at the time, I could make things happen. And it kept my sanity going. So I didn't, the business kept going, not growing, but it kept going. And it kept me in a sense, okay, I can do this.
So it sounds to me like you were relatively transparent about your cancer.
I told the groups, yes, about, at the time I felt that I didn't have that was the best choice. I don't like to use the expression, I didn't have any choice. No, I thought that the best choice was, okay, this is happening. I cannot, this is the priority. And I told the people that I was, even my one-on-one clients, I informed them, okay, I was diagnosed with cancer. I'm going to be doing the treatment. It's going to be my number one priority. I believe that I can keep working and supporting you. Will be some limitations, but I can keep doing the work. If that works for you, I will keep going. And I have to say, from one-on-one private clients to groups, the two groups that I was working with, I only had support.
That was my experience also. For some reason, there's an awful lot of people get cancer and they decide that it needs to be a secret. And I don't think that helps with resilience one single bit because, one thing I learned is resilience is not a blunt force game. You can't say, you can't beat yourself over the head. I'm going to be better. I'm going to be more resilient. I'm going to blah, blah. Resilient is something that grows with you, I think. Or you grow
Absolutely.
resilience.
It's like a muscle. And the word resilience in itself, because resilience comes, I think, from from materials. A material was named resilience by its capacity to regain a previous shape. So a rubber band, you can stretch a rubber band and then the rubber band has the capacity to return to the original shape because it's a resilience material. And then in psychology, we adopt that term. But there is a big difference between materials and people. Because materials, there is a limit to the resilience of a material. A rubber band is a great example because if you keep stretching above a certain limit, it will break. If you keep stretching within even the limits of it, eventually will start to deform to the forces that are applied on it. In the human being, we have this incredible capacity of learning. Doesn't mean that we don't have limits. We have limits. But within our limits, we can grow that limits. And we can learn in the process, and we can get support. We are connecting beings. We work better together. And even in a situation like cancer, like an illness, if we are surrounded by the right support, we have more possibilities.
That's the key, right? Support.
Mm,
You
Yep.
have people who might be meaning well, and they say things to you like, "You're a fighter, you'll beat this." One of the things that really annoyed me when people used to say that, or, um, "Well, you're gonna be okay."
Yeah.
And the truth was, I didn't know I was gonna be okay. I didn't really think about it. I thought I was putting one step in front of the other
Oh,
because I felt so crappy.
yep. And I think because I don't take I just say there was all that awkward situations, but I have been in the other side. It's like it's a little bit like when we meet kids, and the only question that we know to ask of kids: "How is school going? Who is your favorite teacher? What is your favorite matter?" And there's the adults. They have a lack of imagination, and I think sometimes we have a lack of imagination of what to. And sometimes uh, can I, there is anything that I can do to support you? Because also depends of the people, but most people don't know what to do with that.
That's
So
true. And the reason I believe that's true is they're very uncomfortable with the whole process. And in the back of their mind, you're saying, boy, sure hope this doesn't happen to me.
oh, absolutely. And cancer is a very interesting dynamic because there is the mortality anxiety thing for the person going through it and for people around it, because we are still from a generations that cancer was a death sentence. Okay, my grandmother passed away with cancer, and at the time there was not many things that we could have done to help her. So there is and I think that is still part of the culture a lot. And at the same time, the interesting thing comparing with the other very tough illness that people have to go through, there is an empathy and a support of the society for cancer patients that I think we have to acknowledge. That other more invisible, like a chronic pain, that is also very incapacitating in so many situations. People are not so empathic and supportive like for a cancer patient. So as the two dimensions playing around.
That's true. And I think that when it comes to cancer and support, well, the patient really needs to be comfortable with that because there's always that possibility. And with certain cancers, a probability.
Yeah. And in the spirit of being flexible and resilience and knowing yourself, I remember at the time, and I even have a little bit that instinct, is something that I had to accept. So I was meeting other people with cancer. And like I said, when I was meeting survivors that had lived 10, 20 years after, that was really very inspiring and feed my strength and my resilience and my hopefulness. When I knew people that had passed away, I almost just eliminate them from my mind. Not because I didn't care about them, but I didn't want to consider that a possibility for me.
That's one
So,
that's one of the strategies that you can use when you're building resilience. It wasn't my strategy, but there's certainly a strategy that works for you and probably works for lots of other people.
and I had to forgive myself for that because I blame why I just say that person and people that I had correspond to the email and that, and then I through social media, through family members, okay, things really got to turn from the worse, and the person passed away. Uh, I did. I just kept going forward. I didn't, and I said maybe we should contact the family and the members, but I didn't have the energy. I just kept forward, and then I was starting to blame myself. Anna, But I said, no, okay, this is what I have to do at the moment.
Okay,
We're
well,
not perfect.
self-talk is such an important thing that we don't think about. You know, there was really no reason for you to feel guilty because you had a bigger fish to fry.
I know, but it's my we have these
You-
expectations about
oh,
what it
yep,
should and not should be,
of course we
and we
do.
are so good, and that is part. So you are speaking about resilience in this conversation, yes, with the cancer diagnosing and with the resilience, and the resilience, and I was speaking about our capacity of learning. Part of it is awareness. We have to give time to become aware of what we are feeling, about what we are going through, and when to listen to our own self-chatter, and when just say it's enough and keep moving forward and just put one foot in front of the other. But self-awareness is so vital for personal development, and resilience is personal development, in my opinion.
I would agree 100% with that. And we're going to have to leave it there, Anna, because we are out of time.
Oh,
So you're a fascinating person. Why don't you tell people what you do in your real life a little bit and how they can find you?
so now I'm devoting my energy and focus to helping small to mid-sized business to navigate all this AI technology revolution, to create better businesses and a better place for people to work. So it's my big thing, because I think this is a so big change for everybody. And my mission is to help them, okay, more profits, but a better place for people to be there too is so, so important for the people. So, and people can find what I'm doing in my website, anamelikian.com. So ANAMELIKIAN.com.
Cool. And I've got two things I would like you to do. First is please go and give us an honest rating and review. If you love us, you can give us 5 stars. If you hate us, you can give me 1 star. And I'll only cry a little bit before I get over it, but I will get over it, I'm sure. And the second thing is, if you like this podcast and you say, gee, I've got a good story to tell, and it fits into some of our 6 areas of investigation, and it is an investigation, send me an email at jpatrick@stage2solution.com. That's the number 2, and solution is singular. So it's jpatrick@stage2solution.com. And we'll have a conversation and see if this podcast is right for you. So this is Josh Patrick with Ana Melikian. We're at the Long Strange Trip podcast. Thanks a lot for stopping by. I hope to see you here next week. Thanks for spending this time with me today. I really appreciate you being part of this journey. I'd be grateful if you'd leave an honest rating and review. It helps other people find these conversations, lets me know what's landing with you and what isn't. If you love the show, give us 5 stars. And if you hate it, give it 1 star and I'll just cry a little bit. Keep asking the hard questions. Keep being honest about what's difficult. And remember, we're all just trying to figure this out together. I'll talk to you next time on the Long Strange Trip. Thanks for stopping by.